What's up, guys? Hey, so today's show's a little bit different. If you're tuning in for motocross or dirt bike information, wrong show. Go ahead and skip this one. This has nothing to do with motorcycles or dirt bikes. I want to talk about this attack on Elon Musk. The deep state is panicking and they're about to do some dirty, rotten stuff. And I want to kind of dumb down and explain how these NGOs and this fraud directly related to immigration and how this whole master plan works and the fact they're pulling back the curtain on this. I'm not the best at understanding all this stuff, so I have to look at it. But what I am good at is putting it in terms that most of us can understand. I'm getting tons of emails for Nano-Xtreme samples. Please, please, please just do it in one little section. Put your name, address, and email. As I copy and paste these things, it's taking me hours because I have to do thousands of these. So we're getting them all out, but if you could do it in that concise form, please, it saves me some time. And after you've tried it and you realize how awesome this stuff is, head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY, and get free shipping for your bottle of Nano-Xtreme. If you're looking for some more good content, head over to the Coach Rob YouTube channel. He's got physical fitness. He's got interviews with legends from the past, Ryan Hughes, Daniel Blair, BMX Olympian, Connor Fields. Check out the Coach Rob YouTube channel.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So let's get into this DOGE, and everybody is got an opinion on it. Most people are all for DOGE. What this is Elon Musk bringing in very smart people to essentially audit the government. I shouldn't say essentially. They are auditing the government's spending. They are finding fraud. They're finding loopholes. I laugh when people say, we didn't elect Elon. No, you didn't. You elected Trump, and Trump hired Elon as a consultant. And he's letting a very smart man who understands money, who understands how to track this stuff, and he's bringing in his tech people who also understand how to track this. Keep in mind, DOGE, they're not changing anything. All they're doing is bringing to light what's already happening. So to attack DOGE it's crazy to me. And these same people, Elizabeth Warren and all these crazies screaming about Elon, you had no problem hiring 80,000 IRS agents to audit the money that we send you. What's wrong with us auditing you? It should be a two-way street. Come on. The comparison I like to make is, so DOGE, they're investigating these people. They're investigating where the money goes. That's all they're doing. And they're bringing that information to light and giving it to people who can change it and fix the problems. If my house was getting robbed every day and an investigator came in and said, all right, well, I'm going to need to look around your house, I'm not going to tell that investigator, well, no, I'm afraid you're going to come in and steal stuff. Knucklehead, you're being robbed every day. This investigator's here to help you. And this investigator is putting himself at risk by the people who are robbing you. Once he investigates, they're going to destroy and try and kill him and do all sorts of crazy things to him, just like they're doing to Elon Musk. So letting this investigator come in, let's say hypothetically these knuckleheads are right and he is going to steal. Well, you're already getting robbed daily. Why were you so, I don't understand. There's zero risk. We're already being robbed by these people and these NGOs who are literally hijacking our country. Yet they don't want to investigate it for fear that Elon, this very, very rich man who is doing this on his own dime and taking time away from his own businesses, he's actually losing money to do this. You're worried about that guy? What Elon and Trump are doing is something the founders of our country dedicated government for. They did not create government to control. They left Europe and came to the United States for fear, they got away from that kind of tyrant activity. They wanted a government for the people, by the people. And what they did is the people who came into government were successful people who would take time away from their businesses to serve. That was their public duty. That's what these two rich men are doing. They're doing their public duty to wield out these people who have become career politicians. Government is not a career choice. It is something that you should do in service to your country. That's what the founders intended. This is not something where you're supposed to go in there and just make your whole career government, and I want to be a government person. That is not what was intended when we founded this country. Now, if you want to sit and just point out the things that are wrong with Donald Trump, yeah, there's a few things. I don't like his views on private equity and the way it allows rich people to leverage funds to take over, companies and essentially destroy them while they rob them blind. There's a lot of things I don't like. But with problems, you start with the biggest first. And right now, the biggest are the NGOs, the immigration, and the money stealing by specific people. They've figured out how to do it with these NGOs and their nonprofits and the different things that they can do. And it's gotten way more elaborate than just, creating a nonprofit and milking it. So I watched a documentary on immigration the other day by James O'Keefe. Now, he went down and he interviewed all these people crossing the border. And the thing that really caught my attention was all these people coming. They had specific spots they were designated to go. Idaho, Oregon, South Dakota. They were planting these people in specific areas. Why would they do that? Maybe to manipulate the vote? Maybe that's why they didn't want IDs, because they wanted all these people who they're paying to come here through these NGOs. So essentially, they're bringing in voters to keep their corrupt system rolling so that when they do send money to Ukraine or Israel or anywhere else or any sort of natural disaster, they always skim it, or in most cases, take it all. So what they do is they get these people to come over here. They tell them where they're going. And when they get there, they get money, they get housing, they get all these rewards. And these people are in bad situations in third world countries. That sounds pretty good to them. What if I was out there too? I get it. And if you look into the people, they come over, and if you track the NGOs and the money that is being given to these people, it's coming through these organizations who are funded by George Soros, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab. This is a modern day attack on our country. If they do this, they can completely manipulate our elections. They can keep the corrupt officials that they have put in place in power. And when I say corrupt officials, I mean, look at Jeffrey Epstein and the way that they get people into power, that they have something they can blackmail them with. Barack Obama. So this is alarming to me. And I don't care what somebody does in their own bedroom. I don't care if somebody's gay or somebody's straight. I do not care. I don't even care if they use drugs. That's up to them. But when you run the country, I don't want you on drugs. Barack Obama was the perfect patsy. He can speak well. He's handsome. And they had dirt on him. This guy was in limos, having gay affairs, and allegedly smoking crack. This is all alleged by a guy that Tucker Carlson had on his show who said he did this with him. He passed a lie detector test. They shoved it all under the rug.
Guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah. Pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who.
Once you get him in power, now you can manipulate him because you've got the dirt. You know what he was doing. I'm sure that's not the only guy that has these types of stories about Barack Obama. But just like Bill Clinton, when these things come to light, it's mysterious how these people automatically get suicidal, allegedly. But that's the move by George Soros, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, and all these people who are part of the deep state. Now, the deep state used to be hidden. It's a lot more out in the open than it used to be. We can see them. We're finding out who they are, and they're really bad people. But they steal these billions and trillions of dollars through illegal or manipulation of the system. Then they get their own people, like Barack Obama, who they can control, into office. And then he speaks to everybody in a really professional, he sounds great. I mean, I voted for Barack Obama. I'm embarrassed, but I did. Before I knew what was going on, I thought he was a decent guy, and I had no idea the corruption ran this deep. And I just want to personally thank Elon Musk for doing this. He is putting his life, his business, and everything in jeopardy. This guy's so rich, he never has to do anything in his life again, but he has chose to get in there and fix our country. Nothing's more patriotic than that. Him and Donald Trump, while they're not perfect people, and the reason I know I kind of trust them is I know they're not perfect people. But the levels that people like Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, are going to try and silence them because, well, according to Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman was clearly on Epstein Island. And if there's anyone, when you talk about Epstein Island and children and those types of things, and you show me this guy's picture, I go, yeah, that looks about what I would expect. That is who he is. And he is freaking out right now. He is threatening violence over Twitter with a caveat, but that's the wordplay that he used. Of course, he can't straight out say, oh yeah. But what he's up against a formidable opponent though. Elon Musk is smart enough and has people around him to track the money, find out where it's coming from. And he's got a platform to expose them. He is so dangerous. I really worry about his and Donald Trump's safety. They need to be very, very careful, or they will be a footnote and just another assassination in our history. But they've tracked money to protests against Elon Musk and a lot of the violence where they're destroying Tesla car lots, burning Tesla chargers to Act Blue, which, go figure, Reid Hoffman contributes to. And Bill Gates, who's also terrified, goes on The View and throws an indirect threat at the American people that millions might die.
Literally millions of deaths.
And we know they have the capability. They just released a pandemic not too long ago. He made millions and millions of dollars with the way that they've treated us and the way this is all coming out. And we know they did this. I can't believe we have got to get these people in prison. Right now, their backs are against the wall. They're getting desperate. I am worried about what they are going to do next. Is it going to be a catastrophic pandemic? Is it going to be some sort of natural disaster? Because, they talk about climate change and the way that it can be manipulated. Do you know who owns the patent on that? Bill Gates. And I don't know how far they are with changing climate or making natural disasters happen as weapons, but it is something they are definitely studying. And like I said, Bill Gates has that patent on that technology that can create hurricanes. In addition to controlling the politicians, then these really rich people, Reid Hoffman, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, they've bought our media. Our media is no longer free media. They passed an act called the Smith-Mundt Act, which was Obama, where they could actually use the media as propaganda in the United States. That was the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. We used to do it, but it was only legal to do it outside of the country. So we could use it as a tool to fight wars and public policies in other countries. Obama changed it to where they can do it against us. You'll notice that was, I think, 2000. I have to double check, but I think it was around 2012. That's when the media went bananas and started just completely, they didn't even try to tell the news anymore. It was straight propaganda. Look that up, Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Check out Ride Strapped, get your shirts. That's who made this shirt. And just a great company, sunglasses, goggles, ridestrap.com. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport, a shipping company that still believes in customer service, good people, pretransport.com. And if you need some motocross gear, go to aliasmx.com, get some gear, and until March 15th, they are giving away 2 bottles of Nano-Xtreme with a purchase. That's a $100 value, so go to aliasmx.com. So I saw that they're talking about this OMB spending. This is the Office of Management and Budget. Now, they want to do a freeze on spending, but this is not like they're freezing people who are, dependent on the government, veterans, old people. They have a specific list that excludes all of them. This is things that are already deemed non-essential. They froze that until they can prove, or until they look into them and make sure that they are doing what they say they're doing.
Some of the confusion I think may be here with this pause on federal funding. You've made it clear you're not stopping funds that go directly to individuals, but there certainly are lots of organizations that receive funding and then may pass along a benefit. Meals on Wheels, for one. They provide meals for over 2.2 million seniors. What is the president's message to Americans out there, many of whom supported him and voted for him, who are concerned that this is going to impact them directly, even if, as you said, the funding isn't coming directly to their
I have now been asked and answered this question 4 times. To individuals at home who receive direct assistance from the federal government, you will not be impacted by this federal freeze. In fact, OMB just sent out a memo to Capitol Hill with Q&A to clarify some of the questions and the answers that all of you are asking me right now. Again, direct assistance will not be impacted. I've been asked and answered about this OMB memo.
Mainstream media is taking this and saying like, oh, Social Security, all your benefits. That is so not true. It's completely not true, but that's part of the false narrative that they keep putting out there. This is a good thing. If they freeze the spending, they get a chance to take a look at it, and it also stops feeding the monster, these negative people that are paying for media and all the different things that they're doing. So I support this freeze. I support the freeze on money to wars that we don't need to be in. Ukrainian, Israeli. I don't want to send money to these other countries. They have to pay for their own battles. And like Trump said, if they want peace, we will help them get peace, but we will not pay for a war. And please don't think this is just a Republican versus Democrat problem. These people in this world economic takeover that they've got with Schwab, Soros, Reed, they have people on both sides of the aisle. It is about transparency. The only way to beat this is to get transparency. And the only people that fight against transparency are the people that do dirty stuff. So keep an eye on that, guys. So anybody who's screaming about, rights of privacy, of government and money, they're probably doing some stuff that is a bit nefarious, and you might want to look into them. They're telling on themselves. Anyway, thank you, members. I appreciate everything. If you want to win